What's up, everyone? So this is going to be your 18-19 final exam review. All right, and then just like before my other reviews, number one is number one on your test. I'm just not going to do it. Do it yourself if you want the answer. I'm going to do all the evens, all right? That's a zero. Go away. So if you want your total answers to all your tests, do all the entire review. All right, so number two. So again, number one is on your test, except I'm going to use all the room down here to work out number two. All right, so it's just because I scratch out number one doesn't mean that, oh, I scratched out number one. I guess you can, but that'd be a zero because there goes your question. Anyways, number two. 140 is equal to negative 4 times 1 minus 6a. So we need to distribute. Negative 4 times 1 gives us a negative 4. Negative 4 times a negative 6 gives me a positive 24. And bring the a along, equals 140. I want to get the a by itself, so I'm going to move the negative 4. I'm going to add 4. Add 4. Man, it's been a long time since I've written this. 140 plus 4 is 144. And that is equal to 24a. To get the a by itself, we're going to divide by the number in the front. So divide by 24. And 144 divided by 24 gives us 6. So again, number 3 is on your test and so forth, but you do it by yourself if you want to. I want the room to do more work. Negative 40 minus 5p is equal to negative 8 onto p plus 8. Distribute. Negative 8 times p is negative 8p. Negative 8 times 8 gives us a negative 64. Bring the rest of the equation down. I have the letter p on both sides. This is when I like to move the smaller one. Which one's smaller, the negative 5 or the negative 8? Negative 8 is smaller. It's bigger smaller, which means it's more smaller. So how do you move a negative 8? You put a plus 8p, but plus 8p. Can you do it another way? Of course you can. I'm doing it my way. I'm going to bring down the negative 40. Negative 5p plus 8p. Negative 5 plus 8 is a positive 3 with the letter p. Don't forget it. Equals negative 64. Now I want to get the letter p by itself, so I'm going to move the negative 40 out of the way. So I'm going to add 40. So plus 40. Plus 40. 3p is equal to negative 64 plus 40. Negative 64 plus 40 gives us a negative 24. Divide that by 3 because you want to get the number in front away. So negative 24 divided by 3 gives us negative 8. Again, number 5 is on your test. Work it out if you feel like it. I want the extra room. Simplify the square root of 150. Remember that you need these numbers. 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. I think that's it for your question. You put the square root of 150 in the calculator. It's going to give you 12.24. If you want to put all these in the calculator and see which one gives you 12.24, then do it, and you're done already. All right? You can skip the work I'm about to do. I'm going to divide 150 by all these numbers. 150 divided by 4. 150 divided by 4. That gives me a decimal. I don't want a decimal. 150 divided by 9 now. Come on, calculator. 150 divided by 9. That gives me another decimal. I don't want a decimal. 150 divided by, what's next on my list? 16. Another decimal. That's a 0. 150 divided by, what's next? 25. That gives me 6. See the 6? 6. Hey, here's a 6. Woo, answer C. Why? Because the square root of 25 is 5. And then you bring down the 6. It's there, that's how you get the letter C. Right, solve for x. It said, right? I think it said solve for x. Right, there's number 7. If you're going to do it, write it now before I scratch it out. So number 8. Just so you understand what's going on. This part here, that's x minus 3. From here to here, that's 2x minus 7. The whole thing from here all the way over here is 11. Just so you know what the heck's going on in this picture. Okay? So, the way we do this is we're going to do the segment addition possibly. I'm going to get the green part, I'm going to add it to the yellow part and say it equals the 11. So I'm going to get this part here plus this part here and add it, equal to the 11. So x plus 3, oh hello, that's a minus, x minus 3 plus 2x minus 7 is equal to 11. And you want to know why? If you add the small green part and you add the bigger yellow part, then you get the whole line. GF plus FE equals GE, alright? There's a 1 in front right there. Combine my like terms. I have a 1x, I have a positive 2x. 1x plus 2x gives me 3x. I have a negative 3 and a negative 7. Negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. Is equal to 11. You get x by itself. How do you move a negative 10? You add 10. So we bring down the 3x, the 10 canceled. 11 plus 10 gives me 21. Get the x by itself, so divide by the number in the front. 21 divided by 3 gives us 7. Alright. Number 10. Number 10 says find SQ. So real quick. SQ is S all the way to Q. So it wants to know how much is this. It's asking for how much is this part here. If I know what x is, then you add 6 and you get it. Alright? So whatever x is, you plus 6 and it gives you the answer because you want SQ. Just like in the previous question, I'm going to get this part here, which is 10. And I'm going to add it to this part here, which is 2x minus 12, and put equals x plus 6. So it's going to be 10 plus 2x minus 12. And that's equal to x plus 6. Then I'm going to solve it. I have 10 and a minus 12. 10 minus 12, I'm going to bring down my 2x, sorry. 10 minus 12 is negative 2, is equal to x plus 6. I have x's on both sides. When I have x's on both sides, I like to move the smaller one. I have a 2x, I have a 1x. I'm going to subtract the 1x because it's smaller than the 2x. 2x minus 1x will give me x, or 1x. Bring down the minus 2 is equal to 6. I want to get x by itself, so how do you move a negative 2? You put plus 2. So x is equal to 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2 is 8. X is equal to 8. Fantastic. No one cares about x right now. We're not solving for x. We're solving for SQ. SQ, I told you, was that part right here. It's x plus 6. X is 8. So put the 8 right there. 8 plus 6. 14. Number 12. Classify each angle. If you don't know, a baby angle is acute. An angle that is perfectly like this is a right angle. And then, of course, something bigger than this, like, I don't know, that would be obtuse. Oh, and if you get one that's this way, that's a straight angle. So what does this look like? It looks like the obtuse, so this is an obtuse angle. Right. If the measure of angle BCW is 26, BCW, that's 26. 26 degrees. And the measure of angle WCD, is 90 degrees. So this is 90 degrees. Find the measure of angle BCD. So it wants you to find the big angle. If you're looking for the whole angle, what do you do with these two numbers? What do you do with the 26 and the 90? If you're looking for the whole angle, well, that means you're going to add 20 plus 96. 6, 9 plus 2 is 11. If they gave you the big angle and you're looking for the one of the small ones, you would subtract. All right. And these are in your notes. Alternate exterior, alternate interior, same side interior, all that stuff's in your notes. Go back and look for it if you don't remember how to do number 15. Because why miss number 15 if you have that exact question on your test? I mean, look for your notes. Don't be lazy. Anyways, number 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 1 and 5. If you look in your notes, when you get to this part of your notes, you're going to see that when I did the notes for you, when I said, oh, 1 and 5 is corresponding. And you're done. It's in the same location. 1's in the top left corner, 5's in the top left corner. That means they're equal, that means they're corresponding angles, right? Again, look for your notes for this section. Find the measurement of each angle indicated. So find the angle that goes here. If this is 120, how much is this? Well, first you have to ask yourself, how much is all of this? Well, all of this makes a straight line. Just like I wrote down over here. Oh, that's a 0. Over here? Yeah, right here. Here's the C, straight line. All of this is 180 degrees. This is less than 90, that's exact equals 90, this is more than 90. So over here, if the whole thing goes 180 and I already have 120, then I would do 180 minus 120 to find the leftover piece. When you subtract it, you'll get 60. So this is 60 because 60 plus 120 gives me the 180 because the whole thing is 180 there for a line. Solve for x. Oh, number 19. If you don't know the rule, that sucks. I'm sure if you know the rule, you know whether to put are these equal to each other, or do I put plus equals 180? It's in your notes. Look it up. Well, back to my question. All of this is equal to how much? 180. It equals 180 when I do what? When I add them or subtract? When you add them. Just like I did in the previous question, I have to add them. So x plus 125, that's just this piece. I have to add it to the other angle, which is plus 60, and that equals 180 degrees. All these are degrees, whatever. So I'm going to add the 125 and the 60. 125 plus my 60. 125 plus 60 is 185. Equals 180. I'm going to get the x by itself, so I'm going to move the 185. How do you move positive 185? Well, you subtract 185. Subtract 185. 180 minus 185, that's negative 5. Find the midpoint. To find the midpoint, this is the midpoint formula. Midpoint formula. x1 plus x2 divide that by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divide that by 2. Okay, write that down. I'm going to erase it. So that is the formula for midpoint. Right. So here's number 22. This is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. This one happens to be first, so they're the ones. This is the second point, they're the twos. So to plug it in the formula, x1 is 1, plus my x2 is 6. Divide that by 2, comma, y1 is 3, plus y2 is negative 1. Divide that by 2. So I'm going to work out this one on the left first. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 divided by 2. We'll get back to that. 3 plus a negative 1. Well, 3 plus a negative 1 means 3 minus 1, which is 2. And then divided by 2. So I have 7 divided by 2 and then 2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. Now, can I fix this? Of course I can. It's 3.5. Or I can just notice that my second number has to be 1. Second number here is negative 5. That's wrong. Second number is 1, so that's the answer. All right, whatever. Find the distance between these 2 points. Distance formula. Distance formula. Big O square root x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. You got it? I'm going to erase it. Same like the other question. This is x, this is y, this is x, this is the y. This happens to be the first point, so they get a 1. This is the second point, they get a 2. So the formula had a big O square root, and then it had x2. x2 is negative 5. Minus, has to be a minus, that's what the formula says, put a minus. x1. x1 is 3. Then squared, the formula says, plus, this is going to be the y2. y2 is negative 5. Minus sign because the formula says so. Then y1. y1 is 7. Then squared. Then you put this in the calculator. Put this in the calculator. Just the way it is. Don't put the square root. Just put this. Okay? If you're doing this by hand and you want to put in the calculator, negative 5 minus 3 gives us negative 8. Negative 8 squared is 64. Right? If you just put all that had written in yellow in the calculator, it would still give you 64. So plus. Then again, you put all this in the calculator, exactly the way it is with the fractions and everything. Don't forget, I mean, not the fraction, that's a 0. With the parentheses, don't forget the parentheses, if not, it will give you the wrong answer. Alright, so put all that in the calculator. But again, if you're like, I don't like putting the calculator, do it by hand. Negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. And negative 12 squared is 144. And don't forget that all this has a square root. So now 64 plus 144. 64 plus 144 is 208. There is no 208. No. So if you take the square root of 208, it's going to give you, I'm going to write it over here. The square root of 208 is That's not an 8. 14.42. 14.42. Which one of these gives you 14.42? Put them on the calculator and see which one gives you 14.42 when you're done. Obviously, this does not give you 14.42 because the answer is 2. One of these gives you 14.42. And again, if you want to put in the calculator already, go for it. Be done with it. If you're one of those kids who wants to know why, then you keep plugging it in here and you will figure it out. Let me see, 208. 208 divided by 208 divided by 4. 13 times 13. Anyway, so I was just talking to myself, doing the work ahead of time. The 208. You take 208, you divide that by 4. It gives you a decimal, so then I don't want the 4. That's wrong. You do 208, then you divide it by 9. That gives you a decimal on the calculator. Then you do 208, and you divide it by 16, and it gives you 13. 13. Right? Square root of 16 gives us 4. That's how we get the answer. Again, you can skip all this and just use the decimals. Don't care. As long as you show work. All right, number 26. Remember that when you get to these type of questions, no ask forward or backwards in geometry, right? If you get this, it would mean the answer is not enough information. So just keep that in mind. Right? So these little, we have to remember how to label these things. Remember? First, are these two triangles touching? Yeah. They're touched like a bow tie. They're touching right here. And is this a side or is this an angle? This is an angle. So that means you get a free angle on both triangles. This is also an angle. And this is a side. This is an angle. This is a side. So you only have to look at one of the triangles so you don't get confused. So for right now, I'm only going to look at this triangle here. I have an angle. I have an angle. And then I have a side. So how come I didn't do angle, side, angle? Because you can't do angle and then you can't skip all this stuff here and come to this. You get me? You can't do that. You have to go right consecutive. Angle, oh, there's another one, then consecutive to the other one. Right? It has to be consecutive. So angle, angle, side. There's my angle, angle, side. Alright. Oh, this is Papa's. That's a side. That's a side. That's a side. Is it consecutive? Yep, I didn't skip anything. Side, side, side. Same thing over here. Side, side, side. Find the missing side of each right triangle. Round your answers if you need to. Remember how to find the missing side of a right triangle? Anybody? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And C is the one always across the 90. Right? This is the hypotenuse. Yeah, well, C is the hypotenuse, yes. This is the Pythagorean Theorem. Remember that if you're in my class, I just gave you the shortcut method so we could just be done with this type of questions. Remember that if you have C, you subtract. If you don't have C, you add. If you don't remember it, go back to your notes and refresh your memory. Do I have the C? Do I have this number? Yes, I do. Yes, I have the C. That means you need to subtract. Biggest number minus the other number. 10 squared minus 8 squared. Take the square root. If this confused you, go back to your notes over Pythagorean Theorem and, you know what I mean, figure it out. So 10 squared minus 8 squared. Take the square root, put it in the calculator, it's going to give you 6. Again, if you're not sure, try number 29 by yourself and see if you get the answer. Or ask for help in class. Hello. Find the missing side, blah, blah, round to the nearest tenth if necessary. Do I have the C? Yes, that means you subtract 8.1 squared minus 5.5 squared. Take the square root. Remember that if you don't have C, then you would put a plus sign here and do the exact same math stuff, right? So the square root of 8.1 squared plus 5, minus 5.5 squared. It's 5.94, so here we go. Ugh. Look at all these answers, they just look ugly. So, depending on how you were taught, remember I taught my class, just use decimals and be done with it. Alright? We're going to have to use, I'm not going to use this. This is your question. SOHCAHTOA, right? Sin, cosine, tangent. O is opposite. Remember if the number's on top. Remember all that stuff? Yeah. Again, it's in your notes. I'm just giving a quick refresher so I can be done with this video. So let's go ahead and solve this. Everything's going to be decimals in our case. So let's see. I already have the hypotenuse. Here is my angle, which means that this is my A because it's close by. The one far away is my O. Which one do I do first? Doesn't matter. I'm going to do A and H first. Right? A and H is cos, C. So it is cosine of 45 degrees is equal to A divided by H. A is N divided by my H, which is 5. If the number's on the bottom, you multiply. Hope you don't forget that. Cos 45. So if the N is on top, you multiply. If N's on the bottom, you divide. It's in your notes. So write that down so you remember. So 5 times cos 45. Put it in the calculator. Make sure you're in degrees. 5 times cos 45. This gives us 3.53. So N is 3.53. So let me go figure out all the N's. N, 5 square root of 6 divided by 6. 5, put it in the calculator. 5 square root of 6, divide that by 6. That gives me 2 point something. So it means that A is wrong. Because this gives me 2.4, which is wrong. 5 divided by 2. 5 divided by 2 is what, 2.5? That's wrong, which means that C is wrong. So let's try 5 square root of 2 divided by 2. 5 square root of 2. Square root of 2. Divide that by what? 2. There you go, 3.53. So this is 3.53. And this is different, so they're going to be different. So it means that B is the answer. Right. Oh, easy stuff. This will be SOHCAHTOA again. Here's my 90. Do I have the number here? Yeah, I have the H. Here's my 60. The one right next to the angle is my A. The one far away is my O. H is 15. A is X. Do I have the O? No, so I don't need the O in this question. I'm using A and H. A and H is cos. So I'm using cos again in this question. They're not all going to be cos. So cos of 60 degrees is equal to A divided by H. A is X, and then H is 15. If X is on top, you multiply. If X is on the bottom, you divide. Write that down. If X is on top, you multiply. If X is on the bottom, you divide. So X is on top, multiplying. 15 times cos 60 degrees in the calculator. 15 times cos 60. 7.5. This is still the same thing, kind of. SOHCAHTOA. I don't have the angle. If you don't have the angle, that means you're going to use the negative ones. Right, but which one? Well, let's figure it out. Across the 90 is h. Here's my angle. The one close by my angle is my a. The one far away from my angle is o. O is 13, a is 19, h is nothing. I'm not going to use the h here. So I'm using o and a. O and a is the t, which is tan. So I'm using tan in this question. Since I'm looking for the angle, it's going to be tan negative 1. And then you just put o divided by a. O, because o is first. O is 13 divided by my a, which is 19. So put tan negative 1 in the calculator. And then 13 divided by 19. And it gives you 34.3, which is letter B. Hey, we're done. All right, 38 questions on the test. If you have any questions, ask your teacher for help. I can help. All right, laters. 0.